Imagine having a legitimate fear of how people might perceive you just because of your identity. Hello, my name is Maria Omer. I'm 16 years of age, and I've been living in different countries, and I've been going to international schools all around the world. So far, I've lived in Sweden and here in England, but I'll get back to that in a bit. Something I've noticed about living in different places is the way in which we tend to show a particular attitude towards something that we view. In other words, perspective. But in particular, the way in which we perceive Arabs or Muslims in general. So here's a wonderful picture of my class in Sweden in 2007. I'll let you guys have a guess of which one of these students I am. Hint, I'm the only brown one there. Found it yet? So this is the little version of me, and I'm guessing you would already guess that. But just the way in which you found it easy to find out who I was in the crowd, the way in which you scanned your eyes through the screen and picked me out, that's how easy it is for airport security to notice me as well. Now, others might see me as an outcast to society. Yes, I did stand up from the crowd when I was 6 years old, and I still do. But I didn't stand out from the crowd in a cheesy, obnoxious Tumblr quote way. No, but in a scary way. Now, I had a different perspective to being different. I thought it meant being unique and special, but not as someone that we should fear, not as someone that we should circumspect 24/7. But was this all because I was Arab? Now, let's talk about being Arab. In fact, let's talk about the media's perspective about Arabs and how it completely defies the way in which I see my own culture. Some of you guys might be familiar with some of these stereotypes because they're constantly portrayed in movies, on social media, all across the news. 1, how our men are seen as barbaric, crazy, and intolerant. 2, how every Arab lives in the desert. Yeah. And 3, and this is my favorite one, how every Arab woman is an oppressed, veiled, exotic belly dancer. Now, let me give you some geography and history lessons. First, as you can see, there are 23 official Arabic-speaking countries. They're distributed all across the Middle East and North Africa. So there's no way that we all live in the desert. Unless you live in North Africa, then I can't speak for you. Also, make sure you thank us next time you have a sip of your delicious coffee, because remember that it originated first from Yemen, an Arabic country. Or how you're looking forward for an answer from your new university. Keep it in mind that the establisher of the first university in the world was a Moroccan woman around 9th century. Now, these are some amazing inventions, and there is also the musical notations. The first musical notations ever made were Arabic, and that formed today's modern music. You know, these are some great inventions. Apart from algebra, that's something we have to apologize for, I'm sorry. So moving on to a modern-day topic, an issue that is dear to my heart, and it's a sensitive and deep topic to every Arab, and that is the Syrian refugee crisis and war. Now, Arabs have experienced war for a long time. In fact, we're known for this. It's been going on for decades in Palestine, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, Lebanon. It's just been going on since forever, well, for me. See, now, I used a picture of Syrian children smiling because I thought that me objectifying their pain isn't going to help anyway, because they're currently going through a really hard time, especially in Syria. So the Syrian refugee crisis is one of the biggest problems in the world and biggest problems in politics, and it's the most discussed issue in politics, actually, apart from Donald Trump. Now, questions might appear regarding the Syrian refugee crisis, such as, why are they here crowding our countries? Hopefully it worked, okay. This is why. In fact, this is one of the first pictures that showed up as soon as I Googled my own country. But what if our safety feels threatened if they come to our country? Tell us about it. See, you know in the way in which you can't order food through your phone without having to rehearse the lines or make sure you don't say you don't say anything wrong? That's exactly how every Arab feels as soon as we step out of the house. How we look, how we present ourselves, or how we speak. In fact, I had doubts about today's presentation, I feared on how you might view me after. But then I realized that I have a voice. I have a voice that I should be standing up for the unheard, and I have every right to be standing up for my country and my culture. So us, as the new generation, we have a lot of power. And we could be standing up against xenophobia, racism, and stereotypes. So I ask all of us to stand in unity. There's this one famous Arabic quote that goes, and if I can remember, وَأَخِيرًا سَوْفَ تَمُرُّ الْعَاصِفَةُ, which translates to, and finally the storm will pass. This is a quote that's deep and very special to my heart. It's a quote that's in every Arab's heart, and I hope it will remain in your hearts. Thank you very much.
Well done. Don't worry. We'll fix that, don't worry.
All right.
Well done. That give me a hug. I haven't had a hug because I'm finding this stuff fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Listen, you know when you're talking about that kind of immediate response, one thing I know that when I walk into a room, people notice that I'm female. They also think I look a bit like Beyonce. I'm sure that you get the same. They notice that I'm maybe, I'm brown. But they notice that I've got a bit of a Midlands accent, which clearly means I own a whippet and I'm from the north. And what I've worked out is that I used to get very anxious about that. And what I've worked out is that I can't be everybody's assumption. So I'll just do me, and then I'll get on with that. But what I'm aware of is that that goes against what people assume. And then sometimes I get a bit of a problem where they're thinking something and I'm being a different way. How do you cope with that? How do you cope with people making these assumptions? And, how do you kind of overcome them in relationships?
Well, first of all, I don't let it get to me because, I am a woman, I am a Muslim, I am an Arab. There are some, difficulties I experienced in my life and I've experienced ever since I was a kid. But first thing that you have to know is don't let these things get to you, because whatever the media says about you will never portray how we really are.
Yeah. And, you talked about at airports. That really kind of stuck with me because I take for granted that I can just get on a plane and fly where I like. I can just get on and walk through and get back and come off. It's not the same experience for some people.
No.
And there's things about you that, make people's eyes sort of... Do you get that anywhere else? Is that just airports, or is that something that's in your daily life?
It's definitely in my daily life, but once again, I don't let it affect me as much because I know there are much more than just, people's views. And that's why I asked everyone to don't look into what the media says, because... talk to someone from the community. Yes. Don't take notes from the media because they love to twist things around about Muslims, about black people, about gays, or any oppressed minorities. They love to make us seem bad in a way.
Yeah.
But just don't take notes of it.
So I think we should all just hang out with you, Maria, and then we can say, well, my friend Maria says. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for being courageous, and thank you for being awesome. Maria, you're a star. Maria Omer, everybody.